What happens when filmmakers decide rules don't exist? In Italy of the 1970s, a generation of directors didn't just push the boundaries of cinema, they smashed them to pieces and dared audiences to pick up the shards. Hollywood may have flirted with shock, but Italy grabbed it, twisted it, and held it up in front of the mirror. The result? Films so extreme that countries banned them, critics condemned them, and underground fans hunted them like forbidden treasure. In this video, we'll dive into that world, the wild, chaotic, and often brutal realm of Italian exploitation cinema, where censorship didn't stop the films, it made them legendary. The era that broke everything. In post-war Italy, the film industry was changing fast. The old censorship systems were creaking, audiences hungered for something more daring, and filmmakers smelled a shot at freedom. Into this gap stepped the genre often called exploitation. Films built cheaply, made fast, and designed to shock. Sex, violence, taboos, all wrapped up in one bold package. By the mid-1970s, Italy had built a cinematic underground with a snarling grin. Giallo thrillers, erotic horror, and Nazi camp fantasies coexisted in grimy back theaters and bootleg tapes. Young audiences wanted danger, and directors supplied it. And yet not all these films were mere trash. Some carried social critique, political anger, moral provocation. They dared you to look at what you didn't want to. But that was only the beginning. Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom, when art became a weapon. Imagine adapting the Marquis de Sade's most infamous work, but transposing it from 18th century France into the final days of the fascist puppet state in northern Italy. That's what Pier Paolo Pasolini did with Salo. This is no simple shock fest. The film captures 4 power-obsessed men kidnapping 18 adolescents, subjecting them to torture, degradation, humiliating rituals. It's not just gore or nudity for thrills, it's a mirror to totalitarianism, consumerism, corruption. Censors exploded. Italy banned it soon after release. The UK labeled it obscene. Australia, New Zealand took years to even allow censored versions. Here's the hook. In trying to depict the ultimate abuse of power, Pasolini created a film so horrifying that few dared to watch it. And yet, you can't look away. And just when you think you've seen shocking Italy, quietly rolled up its sleeves for what came next. Torso, the birth of the modern slasher. Before the masked killers of Hollywood ran amok in the late 1970s, Italy had already laid down the blueprint. Directed by Sergio Martino in 1973, Torso, original title, I Corpi Presentano, Tracce di Violenza Carnale, takes the giallo aesthetic, the mysterious killer, the stylized violence, the beautiful victims, and ratchets it up. The story. Young art students in Perugia are offed one by one. A red and black scarf becomes the killer's signature. Nudity, stalkings, brutal murders, all woven into villas, countryside retreats, the elegant and the grotesque side by side. What made it stand out? Its tension, its psychological menace, a finale in a villa that crawls under your skin. Some film historians argue it's the earliest example of a slasher film. It wasn't simply about gore, it was about fear, voyeurism, the sense that danger could strike when you dropped your guard. But fast forward, and Italy still had more tricks up its sleeve. Emmanuel in America. When fantasy went too far. Enter the world of decadent billionaires, secret underground orgies, and the whispered horror of snuff films. Directed by Joe D'Amato, this 1977 entry in the Black Emmanuel series doesn't lean subtle. It bulldozes its way through sexual taboo, moral rot, and pseudo-documentary strategies that blur lines between fantasy and something darker. From the opening beach scenes with nude photo shoots to a wild third act that dives into the snuff film mythos, the film dared to ask, how far are we willing to go and watch? Censors saw red. Italy cut it. The UK banished it. Imports became underground cult currency. What's the payoff? The film merged sleaze and social commentary. It didn't excuse the horror, it posed it. Transition. And if you thought that one pushed limits, wait till you see how deep the rabbit hole went. SS Experiment Camp, the bottom of the barrel. Some films go for shock, some go for outrage. This one aimed to weaponize history. Directed in 1976 by Sergio Garone, also credited as Sergio Girone in some versions, SS Experiment Camp is a notorious entry in the Nazi exploitation subgenre. Rape, medical torture, humiliation, concentration camp setups. Here, the plot almost becomes incidental. The images are the weapon. Posters advertised women in chains, medical instruments in Nazi uniforms. In multiple countries, the film was banned outright or prosecuted as an obscene publication. What this says is chilling. Exploitation cinema had no bottom line. If you thought something was too far, Italy found a way to cross it anyway. But amid the sleaze and the shock, there were films with brain, and they unsettled more than the obvious horrors. Don't Torture a Duckling, Fulci's dangerous masterpiece. Lucio Fulci may be remembered as the godfather of gore, but in 1972, he delivered what many consider his greatest film, Don't Torture a Duckling. The film opens in a rural Italian village. 3 boys fool around, spy on prostitutes, stir trouble. Soon young boys begin to be murdered. The local priest, the reporter, the town witch, even the church's influence, all implicated. The film drips with critique of repression, superstition, and the suffocating power of tradition. Yet the violence is jarring. A scene where a witch is beaten to death with pop music in the background sticks with you. It doesn't feel like exploitation for its own sake, it feels like a blow to the gut. Censors didn't know what to do with it. The story attacked the church, the small town, the idea that innocence is safe. Transition. And then finally a film that didn't just cross the line, it obliterated it. Strip nude for your killer glamour meets gore. Imagine a murder mystery wrapped in Milan, high fashion, nudity, and 1,970-second sleaze. That's Andrea Bianchi's 1975 film original title, Nude per l'Assassino. A modeling agency, beautiful women, a killer who picks them off, nudity in changing rooms, showers, every kind of setting you'd expect when the goal is to push boundaries. Censors tried to cut it. The UK slapped it with indecency bans. But fans loved it. Bootlegs circulated. Word of mouth spread. What matters here, it showed a changing Italy, one where beauty and violence, sex and death, merged in the shock market of cinema. But the final film on our list didn't just push limits. It left them behind entirely. The Gestapo's Last Orgy, cinema's forbidden abyss. If you thought you'd seen it all, then director Cesare Cavallone, credited under a pseudonym, in 1977, produced a film so relentlessly depraved, so unrelentingly brutal, that it stunned even other grindhouse veterans. The setting, a Nazi concentration camp. The content, sexual ritual, torture, even cannibalistic imagery. The plot is barely a plot. It's a sequence of escalating horrors designed to provoke. The moral panic was immediate. The film was banned in Italy, labeled a video nasty. In the UK, bootlegs became the currency of underground collectors. Yet, for horror devotees, this became a benchmark, a statement that there was no boundary and that cinema could be any kind of experience. And so, what does all this say about us, the viewers? Conclusion. Here's what I want you to think about. The films we just covered weren't simply made to scare or titillate. They were made to transgress, to confront power, hypocrisy, fear, desire. The censorship, the bans, the outrage, they didn't kill these films. They bound them with a myth. They turned them into legends. Why do we still talk about them? Because they speak to something in us. The fascination with darkness, the craving to peek behind the curtain, the disgust thrill of seeing what society claims we cannot. Maybe they were art, maybe they were filth, maybe they were both. Which one of these would you dare to watch or never touch? Drop your answer in the comments, share your own cult favorites. And remember, in the wild world of film, what's banned today becomes the legend tomorrow.